evening and welcome everybody to another edition of She is Empowered interview series. I'm your host, Max St. John's, and welcome to Miss Hennessy TV and a new episode featuring a really, really amazing friend of mine. She's in the book right here. She is Empowered. Speaking to the amazing Melissa Dooley. How you doing, sweetie?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. We're appearing live from her brand newly painted bedroom of her beautiful little boy, and she did it herself, everybody. Well done, Jules. Yay!
Thank you.
Some lockdown activity there. I like that painting. How are you, my love?
I'm good, thank you. Glad I got it finally finished, about 4 days worth of work with one sick day in between.
Look, so, the sick day from trying to get the points of everything right.
Overthinking it, a lot of rolling, which really took out the shoulders, and then it was like, and then having a child on top that doesn't sleep. So yeah.
You've done well.
It's done now.
You've done well. I love it. It looks good, and it suits that beautiful little boy of yours. He is an amazing little pocket rocket, and he's just so gorgeous. How's he going? And
he's going to climb a lot of mountains, so I thought it was fitting.
Subliminal messages there, Mum.
That's it. No, he's really good. He's still cheeky on the sleep, but, you know, it doesn't bother me. I've always been a sleep-deprived human, so I cope with it very well. And the fact that he's even sleeping the amount that he sleeps now, and I only woke up a few times, is I'm not complaining. But no, he's good. He's really good. Very active little child. You got to keep him busy because he gets very bored very quickly. So, but he's a boy too. So I don't know if that has something to do with it.
He's a beautiful boy. I just love him so much every time we see you and I see him. I just adore him. He's just gorgeous.
He loves you.
Oh, he's a beautiful little thing. He really is. And you know what? It's such a testament to you too, because I mean, we've known each other for a few years now, and how we met in the most boring of offices that in the whole world you would never imagine two amazing women like us to have met in such a boring.
So true. So we were so being squished in something that we shouldn't have been in. Like we didn't belong in that environment.
We seriously didn't. But and with that, there was too much. They couldn't handle us, honey. They really couldn't. They couldn't handle all this.
No. And then the silver lining shone through for the both of us. So
it really did. You know, it really did. But I'm so grateful that we got to meet, because you've always had such an incredible energy about yourself, and you're such an authentic person. Right, you say it like it is. You either like it or you lump it, and to be honest, you've always just been like really real. So you know, when I look back on how it's great, because when I look back on how we met, I mean, we've worked in the strata industry, right? And if anybody knows real estate and property, strata is one of probably the most difficult branches of that environment to work in. Yeah, literally, we're dealing with the most difficult of people, and you know, contractors, and just complaints and constant drama. So you can't do anything but keep it real, and you did that so well. I think that's
I don't know. You're not supposed to keep it real in that job. You're supposed to fake it. Like, you're supposed to lie a lot.
Well, yes.
That was where I went wrong.
You did. You and I both went really wrong, and we couldn't help but just keep it real and try and get others to do the same. But you know, if you fake, you fake, right? So it couldn't stick on us, so we moved forward. But I'm really grateful that you and I met. But how was it like? Like, what was it like working in that environment for you? Because you didn't come from a strata background. Like you've had a couple of different.
I'm a jack of all trades. I think I just can roll into a job and adapt quite quickly, just because I'm very open to wanting to learn something if it interests me. And to be honest, when I walked into the job, I was very excited, really keen, and did enjoy it a lot. But I think the support needs to follow it like if you're going to do a job, you need to be supported. And if the support isn't there on the back end, then you're not going to do well. So I think, and it is, I mean, look, it sounds like I'm putting down a company, but I feel like more so I'm putting down an office. I won't particularly say the company itself, but in the environment that we were in, we didn't have a great experience, you and I. We experienced some very hard times. But I'm glad at the end of the day we came out on top.
Absolutely.
Regardless of whether we left, even if we stayed in that industry, you and I still came out on top in that situation. But yeah, I think it was a very. I'm sad it didn't work out because I did really enjoy it. But I think the way we were treated, not just even just the job itself, like the expectation that doesn't matter how they treat you, the clients. They're allowed to do that. Well, I don't respect that in an industry. If a client is talking like that, like what we were experiencing, mate, the phone gets hung up. But, you know, that didn't happen in our office, unfortunately. We got well abused, and we weren't getting even the training and support to address how that was affecting us.
Absolutely.
So, so I think, you know, I'm glad we've moved on. Well, I'm definitely glad I've moved on, and I'm glad you have too, because my God, look at what happened with you.
Well,
You've just
I mean,
and
look,
you found everything that makes you happy. So
I mean, I think at the time, you know, and just listening to what you've said, obviously you and I, you know, we wouldn't disclose where we worked and that sort of thing, because you don't, but we came through something in the collective that we were, and there's obviously another, you know, team member that you know we've also got in our little Three Amigo crew that we used to call it, and she's been, you know, obviously appears in the book as well, and I'm hoping to speak with her in this interview series as well. But I think when you go through something like that, you really know who the real ones are, right? It's like that kind of safety in numbers type of thing. And because it was a small office, it was really hard to see for myself, especially in my role, who I could really align with and who I could trust, because you thought you could trust certain people and they quickly showed you that you couldn't. So I think when you joined, quite not too long after I did, it may have been about 6 months or so, you would have come on board, I think. It was literally like, oh my gosh, it was this instant sort of connection to you and I. But it was also more so the fact that you weren't afraid to stand up when you saw things were wrong, and you spoke up, even if you felt you weren't heard. You were, and I think that was where the resistance came from for those that were doing wrong. So I always encourage you for doing that. I mean, you and I are both outspoken women in our own right, but you would just keep at it to go, no, but this isn't right. This isn't right. What do you attribute that part of your character to? Because your mum, and I've met your amazing mum, she's a very strong-willed woman as well, and I thank her too for her guidance during that difficult time for me. But what do you attribute that sort of strength in your voice to come from? Obviously your childhood, no doubt.
I'd say growing up, because we had, you know, it was a tough upbringing for my mum with us, because, you know, she separated from my dad when I was 4, and sorry, Dad, but he wasn't a very supportive parent. Right.
You still have a relationship with your dad, though, right?
Yeah. Look, the past is the past. Move on, is my opinion. So whatever happened in those days, they both had their own struggles in life. I know my dad didn't cope so well with obviously the separation, but you know, it does take two to tango. They both have bad parts in the relationship, but I think because then my mum, you know, she didn't have a well-paying job, but she still didn't meet the criteria for housing, so she every moment she did, she struggled, like very much like an Erin Brockovich kind of, you know, I'll put food in my kids' mouth before I eat myself kind of thing. And so I think we always saw the struggles. And and, you know, she'd always have to defend herself and fight for herself. And I know also, unfortunately, in the beginning, because she came from a very religious family, when she did leave my dad, it wasn't accepted by her family very well.
Yeah.
So she kind of got ousted a bit with the family support. My grandmother was always still a part of our lives. She always still very much supported us. We went to school across the road from her, so we'd always go back to hers. But, yeah, I think there was some tough times there, and we saw it. So we always knew, you know, we just came back. And, like, we had a very dysfunctional upbringing. Like, my sister and I, there was 3 of us, but 2 of us lived all the time with my mum, and we were just rat bags, like, you know, riding our bikes till 11 o'clock at night in the street.
Yeah.
My mum having no idea where we are.
Yeah.
You know, just talking back, hanging out at the shopping centre. But I must say, we weren't naughty kids. We didn't steal.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. We didn't.
The disclaimer is Melissa didn't.
I didn't. I definitely didn't. I stole a set of rubbers when I was like 10, and it was like 65 cents, and I only had 55 cents. So I was 10 cents short. But you know what I did? I left my 55 cents on the counter. So I partially paid for them. I just
55 cents and I owe you 1. There we go.
Yeah. And I felt terrible. So it never happened again. But yeah, so that's my one bad thing. But I don't know, I guess that's where we attribute it from. My mum also didn't pick very good partners, and so we saw a lot of shit like that go down, where we, you know, self-defense came into it. Okay. So I think both my sister and I, we're very we're streetwise, and I guess, well, my sister's not actually streetwise, but yeah, I guess that's where we learn it from. And I'm someone who is not a big fan of injustice. Don't get me wrong. There are times where somebody's doing something and I could be a bit like, you're a dick. Yeah. You know, and I say something not nice. But examples like the environment that we were in, when stuff started happening to one of our particular employees that we were friendly with, that was so unfair, so unfair. That did not sit well with me. And then to feel like the person was trying to get me to get involved and engage in being mean as well. Yeah. I was like, oh God, am I in high school? This is incredible. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I always feel like you need to stand up. And I mean, if I saw injustice going on in the street, I am one of the first people. I mean, there's been times I've stepped in on things and not knowing how it's going to turn out, and possibly could turn out pretty bad for myself. But thankfully, I haven't been beaten yet. So
I think they can sense the let's not get involved with this lady because she could know some things we don't. So let's just.
I make sure I wear my Adidas jumper out, you know, my Nikes. I just make sure I look like I can back it.
You're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready for it. Yeah. Well, look, you know, all of that said, I mean, you and I have obviously, we spent hours talking and we know each other enough to know that, you know, we're pretty authentic women, and our friendship is what it is, and it's based on real, right? Hearing you talk about your past, about your mum, you know, you obviously come from the breedings of what an empowered woman should be, right? You don't take crap. You don't let people talk to you in a certain way. You certainly don't allow it to happen to the people you care about. You've come from a home where a strong woman has raised strong women, and your friendship circle, your very close girlfriends, I always admire when I see you post about your friendship group. There's about 5 or 6 of you that it's like a sisterhood, right? When I see you ladies together, empowerment there as well. Can we talk a little bit about your friendship with these ladies?
Yeah, well, so the ones I think you're talking about are my high school girlfriends. Yes. Yeah, so we've known each other since 1992. But yeah, I don't know, there was just this close bond with a group of us, and it just never sort of left us, and we spent every weekend together in our clubbing days, like when we could finally all go out and drink, and it went on for years. Then all of a sudden we were traveling together, and now we're having kids together, and so yeah, I've always, I guess, because my family dynamic was not very strong, I gravitated towards the bonds of friendships that the people I could choose. And I guess I really value, of all the friends, like, you know, it's quality over quantity. Like, I've got many friends and people I call friends, but those quality ones, like not just the girls from high school, there's quite a few other girls that I consider to be really important people in my life. And, you know, if they asked for me to help them, I'd drop what I was doing. You're one of them, you know. And, you know, I dated a guy when I was 21 for 5 years, and I'm still best friends with his sister.
Yeah.
So that's like 20 years on.
Wow.
She's still in life, and you know, she's someone I consider really important, but she's just the friend of one. Like, there's no circle in there, there's just that one friend. Whereas the high school friends, and then there's a group of girls from the Shire that I'm friends with. You know, I guess I've gained all these groups through the areas I've passed through. But the one thing people, like my partner, always says is my God, is there anyone you don't know? Because everywhere we go, I end up knowing someone. And he's like, oh, you just know everyone. And it's like, oh, I'm just someone who likes to talk to people and get to know them. And then I ask them if they know so-and-so, and it rolls on. So I'm all about friendships. I think life is really, like, having friends is really important. And, you know, so, yeah, I value, really value all the girls that I went to school with. There's 2 groups that I sort of hang out with from high school, and then my girlfriend from the Shire as well. So
that's lovely. It's really lovely. I mean, I got to meet a few of them, obviously, at your baby shower when you were pregnant with Jake, and they were just really lovely ladies. And you could see, you can see, I mean, different women, all of it was so different sort of walks of life, different career paths, but there was that sort of unity of empowerment, which is what keeps all of you together. I think you're all strong women. You don't take any crap. It's just, you know, there's mothers, there's single mothers, there's single women. There's all of this sort of connection in there.
That's it.
And I think that's what makes the world go round. I think it's a collection of differences that make us all a part of this sort of collective, right? So a lot of people have asked me, you know, how did I come up with the group of women that I chose for this? And I mean, for me, it was more just thinking, you know, obviously with what I've done in terms of like writing, it's always been the celebrity focus, right? So being an entertainment journalist, I've written on so many celebs and music people and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to something like this, I was like, I know some real kick-ass women. Like, I know some amazing women, like superhero women that.
Well, when you were putting me in the book, I was like, and I saw some of the women you'd put in it, I was like, whoa, you need to put me at the back.
No. The collection of all of you, and a few of my other girlfriends said that too, like when they saw the cover of the book, because I even had a vision for that, and I wanted faces. I wanted your faces on the book, because there's empowerment in every woman. You don't have to be a media personality, a radio star. You don't. The women that are in this book, each and every one of you had something that inspired me and had touched me, or had helped change my life in some way. So obviously with you and I, it was knowing that you were the maybe 1 out of 2 people in that office we worked in that gave me a voice when I felt I didn't have one to stand up to the injustice that was being done. And that stuck with me. Like, being someone who survived childhood bullying the way I did in my teens, that changed my trajectory of life forever. And it's something that once you're bullied in that fashion, it never leaves you, and you're triggered by that behavior, no matter how old you are. And in that office and in that situation, I was triggered by that, because I was being bullied and I was being harassed every single day. And you stood up, even when it cost you, you know, a bit of rebuff. And I just went, wow, this chick is my superhero, man. Like, she went to bat for me, even though I went to bat for myself. It's just having that extra. So that's why
having to back you to say, like, because it's your job on the line when you start to speak up to someone who's your authority, and then if you don't feel like anybody else in the office is supporting you, I understand what you're saying, where you knew you were being, there was injustice going on, you were being bullied, but how do you defend yourself, because you're not sure the repercussions of that defense, because this is the person who dictates what goes on with your job.
That's right.
So that's exactly why I felt the need to stand up when I did, but also because I hate watching it. Like, it was absolutely disgusting behavior. Like, it wasn't just like small time bullying. It was major. Like, that person, that was intense bullying. Like, it was highly inappropriate, and then it was coming from other angles.
Intense and intentional too.
Highly intentional. Yeah. That person knew what they were doing. They knew, and they got so much enjoyment from it, which was the scariest bit about it. It's like, you're enjoying seeing someone suffer and hurt and cry. Like, unfortunately, because she did make, I don't know if she made you cry, but I know she made Naomi cry.
Yeah.
And that one time that she did make Naomi cry, she was trying to get me into it, like making her feel. Like,
absolutely. No, for me, no. It was only, I think, towards the end where I started to feel like my professional thread was coming to its end, and the Maxine that was going to take her earrings off was starting to come into play. Like, I was coming to work with the Vaseline in my bag ready to, you know what I mean? And then I had to retract and, no, you got to be professional. But I had ways of saying certain things to put her in her place, but it just wasn't working because she was covering herself up, I think. So it got to a boiling point, I think. And I think too, because for me at the time, my dad was dying of cancer, and she knew that, and the pressure. So I think of it now, and the feeling that I had, I mean, my husband was involved in it because he had to come and witness certain things, and we talk about it now, and he's like, you could have handled that like, we could have handled it a different. I said, no, I handled it the way I did, and that was how that was going to go. But unfortunately, we don't see karma have its
well, you're right, we don't. But I mean, look, I'm sure it's happening to us.
I'm sure it is.
I do regret that we didn't actually take it further with. I do regret it. Go to work, cover, and make something because an example should have been made of her and some other company members, maybe. But I feel like I wish I just saw the justice, but I know the justice is being served. Don't you worry. So
and that's all that we can. That's all that we can hope, really, at the end of the day. But I think for us.
But let's be clear, you didn't just gravitate towards me because I got involved in backing you. You were a massive fan of my twerking too, remember?
Oh,
you made me
listen, I don't know if we've mentioned it in the book, but she's unbridled in how she'd come in and say hello to me with a sort of twerk, and then I'd have to teach you how to sort of stand up against a wall. And
I never said I could twerk, but I didn't not try to twerk.
Look, there were these moments, and then towards the end, she had it down pat, and I was very proud. My work here is done, is how I felt. My work
but
here
you
is
still
done.
didn't enjoy watching me do it. You're like, put that away,
every function, everything. Our DJ, there she was. Melissa was in the back somewhere, just letting it all hang out. Even when she was 7 months pregnant at my birthday party, up against some bar, and here we go.
That's right. Got to keep the twerk alive. Wasn't it? You just knew the moment you saw me try it for the first time, you're like, this is my girl.
That's it. She doesn't even care that her back's not arched properly, but we'll get there. We'll get the back arch properly. Now, I have to bring it back to the book. Now, you've just mentioned to me, you were like, why would I ask you to be in this book when you saw the people that were in it and the whole deal? How did you feel, though, when I did ask you to be a part of it? What was your initial reaction?
Yeah, no, I didn't, like, not to not support you. Like, that was what tore me in half, was like, I don't want to not let you down. I want, like, you've obviously asked me because you want me to, like, it means something to you.
See you in that role, yeah.
But I'm just like, this isn't a book for me. Like, I'm not in books. I don't go in books. And also because I'm just not someone who, like, I don't go and advertise myself in like, I'll post a picture on Facebook, but yeah, I'm not someone to go out on a platform of media and share it with, a bunch of people I don't know, to try and gain, so that's the part I struggled with. Like, and then when your questions came through, I was like, oh my God, how do I don't even know where to start, because you're asking me to answer questions about me and I'm my worst critic. So I don't know how to sell myself in a healthy way. So I'm like, okay, just do your best, be real. And I did throw a lot at my mum with, like, how does this sound? And my mum's like, yeah, that's good. So, but, when I look at how I answered my questions versus how some of the other ladies, probably who are a lot more confident than what I am, I was like, yeah, I really let myself down with the answers. Like, they're not very in depth compared to some people I noticed. And obviously two questions that in the end I don't think I got it done, I really struggled with. So yeah, books aren't, I'm not a big reader. Well, to be honest, I don't even read.
Well, you've got a newborn as well, though, but you've never been a reader?
I've never taken, see this room? That's me. I'm creative. I like to use my hands. Sitting down reading things, like I barely read an instruction when I have to put something together. Like, if you just show me the pictures, I will get that thing together from the pictures. So reading just wasn't my thing. I think I was an outdoors kid. I was always into art, like sketching was my thing, and painting and stuff like that. So that's where my strengths lie. Yeah. I like to sit behind what I'm doing and show my talents that way. So writing was a real difficult one, because I kept thinking in my head, what are people going to think? How are they going to read this? Do I want people to... I was so nervous to share it.
You weren't the only, like, you're not the only woman to have said that to me. And a few of the ladies asked me too, like, why me? Like, I'm not anybody, important. And that was, to me, that struck me, because I'm like, but to me you are. And this book is to reach other women who might think the same way of themselves, and they are important to someone. And I asked women who I believed were empowering in how they live their lives, in the journeys that they've had. Some have had just lives awash with struggle and adversity, and they still come out smiling and just brilliant. Others have been, handled the worst blows, and they're still out there, doing what they do. Others have been blessed beyond words, and they don't gloat about it. They're just out there giving it back. And so I wanted each and every one of the ladies to see that I saw it and I gained empowerment from that. So whether you think that you weren't enough or your story didn't make a difference, it has. And whoever's reading the book, whether you're a reader or not, your story is still empowering. And the person that you are, and that was the reason why I asked. But a few ladies I did ask, and they said no. And I think it's because they were so overwhelmed with, maybe, like, my story's not that important, that it let them... No, it stopped them from sharing it. And that's fine, because you have to be ready to share. But I just wanted them to know that I saw them in that way. And that was all it was. That was the only intention.
I think the title to me was what made me maybe decide that it was to do it, because I realized, especially how things went down for you and I, that situation is a totally, when you get a victory, you are feeling very empowered. So I think it made me understand why you did pick me because of what we'd gone through together, and like, you know, we'd shared a lot about our lives and
So
struggles that we've had in the past, and the wins.
yeah.
And, you know, I realised that's probably why you did make the decision to put me in it. And I also didn't want to let you down. So I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this for her because, you know, I think you're amazing.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and you're so inspiring to so many women. Like, just like, obviously I've met like through certain situations, good and bad, with you, like your birthday, but also, you know, when we met up after your dad's funeral and stuff, with your groups of friends and the women that, you know, even the men, but the women that you know in your life, like, wow, so many personalities, big personalities, and really genuinely like got your back. Like they 100% believe in you, want to see you do great. And so, and I think I noticed that's what you surround yourself with. So you're very lucky to have all of those. Like, and I think I'm the same. I'm very lucky. I've got a group of girlfriends very much like yours, but gosh, yours are very, very big.
Lots of big personalities. And I mean, look, I've done different parts of my life with all of these women, obviously the different components of what I do, my music industry, the writing community, the teaching community, you know, friends that I've had from my clubbing days that are now career, you know, successes in their own right, and we've all kind of merged. But they're all these huge energies and huge personalities that are both inspiring and empowering, but also endearing, because obviously there's a mirror with that with me. I never used to think of myself as a big personality until I saw the people I was surrounded by, and then I thought,
you're big personality. Yours, like, of all the like women, well, you probably you line up with another girl I know, but she likes to do and she's going to love it if she sees this video when I say this, but she's a big fan of Brittany and fishing rods with, anyway, that's not even going to make sense to anybody but us.
But to her.
She's just got this personality that that's like yours. But yeah, you've got an amazing personality. Like, your smile alone, listen, it just lights up.
Oh,
like,
thank you.
So I just think, yeah, like, and you've got lots of friends like that. I was so, like, I just remember sitting back and watching you all one stage and just thinking, wow, look at you all. You're just such a happy, so much energy going on in that group. So, and they all came for you. Like, when that happened with your dad, from near and far, people travelled to come for you and support you. And in fact, it was amazing. It was all your friends at this event, like, you know, so it just goes to show what kind of a woman you are.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, it's when I think back to moments like that, especially when it's like moments of real pause, like what we're going through now, like with our lockdown again, and we can't see people, and a lot of this interview series has been based on Zoom interviews because this is the new normal, right? This is how we connect. I was almost put off by starting or launching this channel because I've always been a very tactile person. I love to sit with people next to them and interview and talk, and that's how my whole career has been based on. Like, even in radio, I haven't been in radio for 6 months now because we're not able to go in the studio and interview people. It's very challenging for a creative. But I needed to do something to connect. And so this is how the series came about. But those women, you know, I might not see them all the time. I see them on, you know, social media. But to have this conversation, like even with yourself, it's just, it feeds the soul. And I hope that people that watch it, you know, will gain something from it. And that's why I do what I do. It's not for hella likes on Instagram. I mean, my Instagram numbers haven't moved up at all. Like, I've never done it for that. I don't do what I do for those things. It's a different intention. So I just hope people get something from it, you know.
Yeah. Well, my friends read some of the book. Well, they definitely read me. So, and they like enjoyed the questions and then obviously following through, especially because they knew me, so they could like relate to what I was saying. So they really enjoyed it.
Oh,
So that was good.
How did your
So,
mum like it? When your mum saw the book, how did she?
I don't know if I don't really know what her reaction was. It's so long ago since she launched. I don't remember.
It was back in March, so because I know a lot of people weren't expecting the pictures on the cover.
No, I was not. Thank God, my photo is so old. It doesn't even look like me. No one would know.
I was like, surprise, bitches. It's
so
not
funny.
some sort of that's it. It wasn't some sort of veiled thing. It was like
straight in there. We're straight up. No. So no, I think my mum enjoyed that. So, well, she already knew all my answers because I read them 1,000 times to her before it. So, but I know your launch. I wasn't feeling well at your launch, so I just remember that. So your launch was a little bit of a haze to me, but I do remember your girlfriend getting up and going, so you didn't have anyone introducing you. So I've decided to step in and introduce it. And my God, she did an amazing job. She just like really, So she stood out the best in that moment for me. But it was I think I was going through a lot of sleep deprivation just before that launch.
Yes, you were.
Transitioning my course.
We'll touch a little bit on that and life with Jake. You're a new mum. Well, your little one is what? He's 18 months
He's
now.
Almost 18.
18 months.
Very close.
He was a welcome surprise because I remember you telling me.
Right. He was obviously I really wanted to have kids. This made me sound so bad.
No.
I just met up with an ex-partner and we were just hanging out and accidents happen. Yeah. Great accidents. Surprises happens.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it's worked out for the best for the both of us. Like obviously he struggles a bit with anxiety and stuff. Yeah. So we have moments with him with that, but God, he loves like Jake, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
They are carbon copies of each other. If he doesn't look just like his dad, it's incredible. Incredible.
He's mini-me. I can't, there's not a single thing that he got from me.
It'll come. It'll come. Trust it'll come.
Well, his hair's darker at this age than what Aiden's was when Aiden was his age. So I'm assuming he's got a little bit of my brown hair. But Aiden's, he's like, when you put them two together, I just go, that's your son.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's mine.
No, it'll come. Trust me. As a mum, I am glad boys, it'll come.
It will come. Yeah. I'm glad he looks like his dad anyway, because in my opinion, his dad's very handsome. So he got the better of he's gorgeous, those eyes and that cheeky little smile. But everyone, I'm biased, I'm the mum, but he's beautiful. I don't regret anything about him that's happened. It's been an interesting journey, but the best. So
how's it changed your life, Jules?
I'm unemployed still. So it changed my life like that. I'm not working.
Financially, it's changed my life.
Financially, it's definitely changed my life. I can't say better. I would go back to work, but we're in some interesting times. And also we don't know where we're living at this point. So it's really hard to decide to go. Like, I don't want to go get a job and not have it be a permanent one. I want it to be a career style one. So I haven't committed to anything yet. And we were down at the farm, obviously, as you know. We have this, my partner has this property, and so we were living on that for the first 12 months. COVID sort of sent us down there and we just enjoyed it. But obviously because of COVID, we were doing okay at the time for money. And then that all just, money started to dry up. So we've come back so my partner can work between Sydney and the farm. And then we have intentions of getting back down there, but it's just we don't want to get back down there and still just be struggling. So it's about catching up.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I want to put Jake into daycare at some stage and get a job, but any job I do down there, it's a 40-minute to an hour plus drive. So I've really got to pick a job that's going to work for the both of us. So but you know, it's changed my life a lot. Like just like, it sounds terrible to say, it's Groundhog Day when you're with your child.
It really is. It really is.
Same thing over and over.
It really is,
again.
but you know what? The change will happen, like the minute he goes to that next step, like the daycare step, there'll be a couple more hours you claw back for yourself where you then start to figure out the next step for you, because he's kind of figured out for a few years when you put him into daycare, and then before you realize it, this little person is a whole new other little person, and they're moving into the milestones that they have to move into, and you have to figure yourself out. I know for me, you know, I think with my first son, with Bailey, and obviously there's an 8-year difference between the 2 boys, and with Bailey, and it was like, oh my God, my first child, and everything was about him, and I had to do, I couldn't, you know, I haven't worked a full-time job since I've become a mum. I worked full-time for 20 odd years before that, and then once you become a mum, you got to get that balance happening.
It's the balance.
It's the balance, and it's so hard, and you sacrifice a lot because you do want to be there for them with things, but you've also got to work and maintain a life, and living in Sydney is no joke. It's hard, it's expensive. But
well, the other part too is around where I am at the moment, there's no availability in the daycares. So if you don't have availability and you don't know when you need to put them in anyway, because you don't know what hours you're going to do this job that you haven't got yet, so hard, like you've got to put their name down, but you still don't have it. So that's where I'm getting a little bit of struggle. But yeah, I do, like, mainly I kind of want to put him in for a day at the moment just for his social skills, because of COVID we had no interaction for his first months or so with no other kids, no other babies. So we didn't do much. Well, because we were living on the farm and because of COVID. But then I joined, like, because we were down there, I joined this mums group down in Goulburn, and I met some really lovely ladies, and all our kids were very, like, right on the same ages. So that was his first interaction with little kids. So it was a big thing for him, and he was mesmerised by other babies. But he has a lot of interactions with older kids, so I notice he gravitates towards older kids. Like my neighbour from my mum's across the road, he's 12 and he loves him. And the boy loves Jake back, so it's really nice to watch the two together. But he always comes, picks him up, takes him around, like runs him down the street with him. So he really likes him. And then we have some kids that come down to the farm that he really interacts with really well, and the kids are really good with him, but they're all older. So that's why I really want to get him into daycare, so he's interacting with other little kids his age, and just getting some of those social skills and things that the daycares are going to teach him, because I don't know, I just let him do his own thing, and I think there's a lot of things I could be doing, and I probably don't realise I'm not doing them. And if he's in a daycare, they'll be doing it. So it's my main reason why I get him in.
But that is true. I mean, look, I put Miles in when he was, I think he was 2 and a bit, and and that's when I sort of put him in for like 3 days, and then eventually 3 days then went to 4. And I've kept the 4 days so that I've got a day with him. I work 3 days, and then I've got that day just with him, because next year, and he's so ready to go to kindy. It's like he's annoyed that he's stuck in this little body. He just wants to be grown and do things.
Well, you know what? That's from having an older brother, because he does things probably a bit more advanced for him. So I get that. So
but you'll get there, and look, Jake he's a beautiful little boy, and he's just got such a great spirit. He's going to be something amazing. You can just see it. There's something really special about him. So just give it time, give yourself time, and it'll work out. But it's so hard with what we're going through right now. It's really difficult.
Difficult. I'm not, and to be honest, I don't care that I don't have a day off. I love having him with me because I can justify in my head that, well, you don't have a job, you don't have to go to work at the moment, you're one of the lucky ones, and then you get to stay home with him. So I kind of really appreciate that I have that. So I get to see him do things that, if they're at daycare, they're learning that at daycare and you miss that moment. But with Jake, I'm seeing every moment that he learns something. Like, he's such a, I guess we don't give kids enough credit, but I'm not a helicopter parent and I probably let Jake do things he really shouldn't be doing. He just picks up so quickly. Like, he understands the concept of a screwdriver. He understands the concept of keys. And I think you're only not even 18 months yet. How do you know that gets the car started, that opens the front door? Like, and mobile phones, and
he's so clever. And I see the pictures you post, and he's such a daredevil, and he's climbing up like slide stairs, and he's on a scooter, and I'm like, he's a little miniature, like daredevil thing with the helmet on.
Well, he's not. He's actually, I know a lot of people say he's a daredevil, but you know what? He's not actually very brave. He won't jump off the edge of a bed to me. Like, he'll go 1, 2, 3, and he'll go and he'll sit down and crawl off it. So he doesn't jump.
But he's got the sort of, like, he looks like he's ready to,
he's very technical, I guess. Like, he can get up ladders, go down the slides, and I suppose he doesn't realize the consequences of what happens if he falls. I guess that's why he doesn't get that but we're jumping off the bed, he knows he's jumping, so he doesn't do it. But it's interesting. I don't know, but I think he might also be like, his dad and I don't like heights, so maybe he doesn't like heights. I don't know.
But look, whatever it is, you're doing an amazing job with him. He's beautiful, and I just love it when I see, like, whenever we see each other and there's little cuddles, and then he like pushes you off, and then he watches, and then he comes back in for more, and he's just beautiful. I just adore him, and he's a real credit to you, and everything, that all the trepidation that you were feeling in the beginning. Like, you're an amazing mom, and I think that's, you should pat yourself on the back for everything, all of the challenges that you've taken on board with him. And every family has its dynamic, but whatever yourself and your partner are doing, you're raising a beautiful boy, so congratulations.
Thank you. I think we are. You're doing well. We're putting him on motorbikes already, so we're doing an awesome.
You're doing great, honey. And you know what? He's going to grow up. I can already see it. He's going to be an advocate for, like, injustice all over the world. He's going to stand up to people, and I can just see it now. Like, my mum used to do this.
If his dad has it his way, he'll be a race car driver.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I already know him and his dad. They're just going to get up to trouble. I'm already like, you two. I've already said to Aiden as well, like, any injuries, that's on you. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to see it. You just take him to the hospital. Don't even tell.
And and you handle everything that comes with that. It's the lot in life, mums with boys, I tell you what. But listen,
isn't it?
Thank you so much for your time tonight. And I know that you were like, why do I have to do this interview? I'm not very good with it, but I'm grateful to you for.
I really was sick the other night.
I know you were. No, listen, so many people have. I've had to reschedule quite a lot because it's just the time of year, and with everything happening right now with COVID, you don't want to take it, too lightly. But thank you for showing up as always and supporting. I appreciate you.
I'm so scared to now watch this back.
Don't you dare. It's just real. It's me and you. It's just a conversation, and I know that it's going to just be a really great feature within this series, and you're important just like everybody else is, so thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you and love you, so thank you so much for including me and thinking of me as someone that you consider to be empowered and inspirational to you. So because you're definitely that for me. So yeah.
Thank you, my love. Thank you
so glad
so much.
we got to meet each other.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know about other people, but I'm glad we got to meet each other. So
oh yeah, no, forget them. But yeah,
exactly.
Anyway,
listen, stay safe during everything, and we'll see each other soon. Yeah,
you do. Thank you.
Right. Bye, my love.
Bye.
Bye.